Is this going to be about episode 3? Oh, it is. He's like, it's a zombie show. Why are there no zombies? It's a zombie show, and there are noticeably very little zombies, hypothetically, in this episode. Anyway, let's hear what this idiot has to say. Things I hate. Gay people.
Okay, so we are going to steer into some dicey waters. I'm about to criticize an episode of the TV show, The Last of Us. I'm going to say right up front, HBO's The Last of Us, right? This is the one that stars Pedro Pascal, and it's really well produced, written by Craig Mazin, who's a super talented guy. He's the one who is behind Chernobyl. Okay, so first the things about this series that are good. And again, preface, I've never played the game. So don't care about the game. Don't care
Shocking.
about how true it is to the game. There are lots of gamers out there. You want to watch their videos on the correlation between the game and the show. That's fine. I'm just watching it as a piece of pure TV entertainment. Okay, I'm coming from, I don't care what's canon. I don't care what's not canon. Just coming at it from the view of a TV viewer. So I'm just going to say that right up front. That is not my particular purview. I don't play video games because I'm not a child. I know. I'm just joking. Lots of good people play video games. Okay, in any case.
I was about to say, he knows his audience. Like, come on, brother. You can't be trying to appeal to like the sweatiest like right-wing Gamergate holdouts while simultaneously claiming that only children play video games, because they're gonna get mad at you. You talk about how they're like soy-facing Funko Pop collectors. They will lose it on you, okay?
Including Andrew Clavin, who's a mediocre person. Anyway, The Last of Us is for those who haven't seen it, it is a zombie show. Okay, it's a show about a zombie apocalypse that essentially arises because fungi go viral, essentially, and take over people's brains and turn them into zombies. That is the premise of the show. And it's really well produced, and it's beautifully shot, and it's really well scripted, and all the rest. So the first 2 episodes are about Pedro Pascal finding, again, some of this is sort of hackneyed trope, but he is introduced to the other main character, who is a young girl. The young girl is, for some reason, immune to the zombie virus. And so the question is, can he get her to a place where presumably they are going to try to manufacture a cure from her, right? That's where the show is going, I would assume, because any other place doesn't make any sense. It is this character, Joel, and this character, Ellie, and they are navigating the zombie apocalypse. And then we get to, so that's the first couple episodes. And they're good. They're really compelling. Again, really well made, really well written.
Oh.
And then we get to episode 3. And this, according to the media, is the...
But it's like, Fanray is a liberal. I liked it because it reminds me of what Joe Biden's administration tried to do to us with the COVID vaccines. He's like, that's why I liked it.
The single greatest episode of television that has ever been. If you read the headlines on episode 3, this is the most important thing that has ever happened in the history of television.
I don't think Ben knows that Ellie is gay. So I think that's why he's popping off right now. He's like, wow.
CNN, The Last of Us, just made an early claim to one of the best TV episodes of 2023. The Last of Us viewership soars 12% to a new series high with heartbreaking episode 3. It's historic. It's important. Okay, guys, it's historic and important. Now,
yawn. Who cares? Yes, dude. Liberal columnists love gassing up TV shows because they got nothing else to write about. It's kind of like a less damaging version of what the right wing does whenever like a trans person sneezes in public. You know what I mean?
Now, why is it historic and important? It's historic and important because it's about 2 gay dudes. That's why. So the essential plot of this episode, which is the problem with this episode, and again, Brokeback Zombie Farm or whatever, fine. The problem with this episode is that it absolutely does not advance the plot in any way and actually has no consequences.
Why would you say that? You don't know the story. You didn't play the game. You're just wrong. It literally is like, perhaps if you know the story, if you already are coming at it with the full knowledge of what happens, then you think it's way too fucking blunt and not subtle as far as like detailing exactly how motivations are built for Joel. It quite literally is the story. It's just funny because like Ben, 1, doesn't understand anything about this story, but also 2, Ben doesn't understand anything about story writing in general. We know that already. He's written stories. They all suck. I don't want to hear from this hack failed screenwriter about what is compelling storytelling.
So the entire plot of the episode is that Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman, but he actually plays Ron Swanson, but Ron Swanson who likes to nail dudes. So Ron Swanson, a libertarian who hates the government and lives in his basement and is a prepper, but also is gay.
But that's like unique. Him being gay made that character cooler. It made that character way more unique. It's not that it doesn't exist in the real world, but it certainly made the character more interesting than the classic, hoorah, I'm a doomsday prepper. It gave the character layers. which is kind of what you do when you want to write like an interesting story. You know what I mean? The juxtaposition.
Ron Swanson, during the zombie apocalypse, he's having himself a grand old time. For some reason, his town is completely not hit by any of the zombies at all. It's like completely left alone. And so he goes out and gets all of his resources, and then he builds a nice fence around his place, and he sets up all of these booby traps. So if anybody shows up, whether they're raiders, whether they're zombies, they're going to get killed. And then somehow another dude ends up like falling into one of his traps, and they meet and they bang. They end up becoming a couple. Okay, so you can see it here, right? There's gay Ron Swanson, and it's complete with like sex scenes and the whole thing. And the entire episode has no zombies, no real threat, and it is about two gay dudes who meet.
Again, Ben has never played the game, so Ben doesn't understand that like there are plenty of fucking moments in the entire sequence, in the entire franchise, where you never see a zombie. And instead, the real villains are the humans all along. Like, it's kind of cliche almost. So it's shocking that Ben Shapiro does not understand, like, this basic component of a story. Out here, you don't have to worry about the zombies. You need to worry about something way worse. Raiders. You know, that sort of thing. It's not like they're hiding it. They're saying it openly. At that point, it's not even subtext. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You can't even understand that?
And have a relationship in which one grows strawberries for the other, and then they die. But not being killed by zombies or under threat. One dies, he gets cancer, and he decides to essentially euthanasia himself. And gay Ron Swanson decides that he is also going to commit suicide at the same time because Romeo and Juliet, or Romeo and Romeo in this particular case. Okay, now, here's the problem. It's all really well produced, and it's beautifully shot. Brokeback Zombie Farm. Here's the problem with Brokeback Zombie Farm. It's a zombie show. There are no zombies in this entire episode. Like, none. I understand.
Dude, that's so stupid. There are already zombies in that episode, but who cares? That's not what the show is about. Ben's like, why isn't it like a Marvel movie?
Simplistic critique. But there are no zombies in a zombie show. This is worth pointing out. It literally has nothing to do with the plot of the show. This is a show where this show could have this entire episode could have taken place completely without a zombie apocalypse. It just would have been a Showtime romance between two middle-aged gay dudes who get older, one dies of cancer and the other assisted suicide himself. That would have been the entire, it would not have changed one iota of the show. It is completely irrelevant to the story. And one of the reasons that it is completely irrelevant to the story is because there are no stakes. And the reason that there are no stakes is because, again, we are in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. When you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, one of two issues has to come into play. One, the threat of the zombies, or two, the threat to humanity more broadly. So if you're talking about the threat to humanity more broadly during the zombie apocalypse, what you're talking about is
Okay, but again, no one, and I mean no one should ever listen to Ben Shapiro talk about movies, or at least like good movie writing. A good zombie show is about surviving zombies. It's in the name.
Your population, right? You're talking about there are no people. The zombies are going to take over. Humanity is going to be extinct. That is the entire threat in a zombie apocalypse or in an alien invasion movie.
Dude, he literally is saying it's not black and white. Like, it's not open and shut. It's not clear cut. It's not black and white. It's like too complex for Ben, which, by the way, ironically, it's not. It's literally a trope at this point to have human beings be cruel to one another, more so than the zombies could ever be to human beings, is like a well-established trope in the zombie genre since like 1987. No, you don't understand. Ben is saying they should be worried about the greater threat to humanity, the gays. It's true. These guys are behaving in a homosexual manner when they should be focusing on repopulating the population.
Any other sort of species-level extinction event movie, like War of the Worlds or something, the question is, how do human beings repopulate? How do they survive? And how do they become successful once again? If you're going to censor an episode like that, what you need to do is you need to have an episode about people who can have babies. Again, there are only two issues in a zombie apocalypse. You could have this whole thing, but the whole thing is these two dudes in love, but they're fighting off zombies. But they never fight off the zombies. It's not an issue.
Dude, I was joking. Dude, I was joking. Why did he say that seriously? Bro, that's so dumb. Stop. Conservatives will take arguments that you make jokingly and say it with sincerity.
So, irrelevant. Or you could have them somehow interact with the main characters. They never do. So this entire episode is a sidestep. It has nothing to do with anything.
This kind of crap is what makes conservatives so crazy. We do not need to sexualize everything. There's nothing sexual about like two gay dudes loving each other, dude.
Ellie and Joel could have just stopped by, found the house, picked up guns, and gone on their merry way. And it would have taken 10 seconds. Instead, you get an entire hour-long digression to do, I say again, La Caja Falls or whatever this is. Okay, so it's irrelevant. Beyond it being irrelevant, it has no stakes. So you want to have like an interesting conversation about love during the apocalypse. The big issue of love during the apocalypse is, what if you have a baby? What happens if you have a baby? Or having babies be the purpose here?
Okay. Let him cook.
Let's take another example of a show that did this correctly. So Battlestar Galactica had an episode early on, I think it was season 2, in which one of the questions was underpopulation, right? The fleet is depopulating. And so the question becomes, what do you do about abortion?
Dude, he loves this. He's like, he loves the idea. He loves this idea because it's like forcible reproduction as a concept is like being reinforced in favorite type of science fiction or whatever. That's why he likes it.
So President Rosalind, who's a lefty, she decides that she's going to outlaw abortion because if you want humanity to survive, then it turns out that individual autonomy over your body is significantly less important than actually repopulating humanity. So here's Rosalind announcing that she's outlawing abortion, right? Because again, the stakes are whether humanity survives. It is not whether two individuals fall in love in the middle of a farm, not threatened by anyone, which is the story of this particular episode.
Wait, they were definitely threatened, man. It's still survival. I don't get it. Ben also kind of doesn't understand. I feel like he's going to lose his fucking mind at the end of the show. If he's like thinking about this as seriously, he's going to be like the Joel haters. You know what I mean? Like he's probably going to fucking lose his mind when he finds out what happens at the end of season 1, because like that shit's going to piss him off. If he's thinking about this so seriously as like, not that like human beings are complex, and that like they sometimes make decisions that they think are the best decisions that end up being really bad for the fate of mankind, that kind of thing. Like he's gonna lose it, dude. He's gonna be like, this is the worst episode in the history of the genre. I've never seen.
Practitioner.
Bro, I'm not kidding. I think he just simply likes it because she made abortion illegal. I don't know enough about Battlestar Galactica to tell you whether or not this is valid or even important. Like, I don't know, but I think he literally just likes it because there's a leftist woman and you expect her to be liberal, but she is denying women bodily autonomy.
Shall be subject to criminal penalty.
Okay, so, this is like an actual issue. What do you do during an apocalypse? Do you actually try to preserve humanity or not? Two gay dudes falling in love and then dying of old age is not relevant to that particular conversation. Now, you can say, well, that's not what they wanted to cover on the show. That's not what they were interested in covering on the show. The truth is, it's a much more compelling storyline. I mean, that's the entire plot line of A Quiet Place, right? You have an alien invasion. What do you do when you have a baby? Do you continue to have babies in view of the fact that there's a threat to the children, in view of the fact they're going to have to live difficult and rough lives?
Dude, if Ben works himself up this much, he's going to come out of the other side of this conversation an anti-natalist, by the way. Should humanity survive is a fundamental question that we should be asking. What is the sole purpose of humanity to survive if there's nothing else to survive for? And we have nothing left. Should humanity continue to survive or should it cease to exist when all the conditions are pain and torture? After all, a baby can't consent ethically to being born. You never consented to being born. Oh my God, I never consented to being born. Life is a sequence of endless disappointment and sometimes a lot of pain and suffering. Maybe it is unethical to give birth to another human being. Oh God.
Lives and all the rest of it, right? But you can say, I see the argument. Okay, well, that's not what they wanted to take on in episode 3. So I have a question. What were they seeking to take on in episode 3? What was the major topic that they were seeking to take on? People falling in love during the apocalypse? What are the stakes? We don't know any of these characters.
He's the only person in Netflix since you enjoy forced births category. Oh, Netflix has him. Yeah, Netflix is an entirely different algo for Ben Shapiro.
Nor are we going to care about them beyond this particular episode, which means that it's basically just a sidetrack. It's a throwaway episode, but it's so important because it has gay people, you see. It's so important. And, the guy who created the video game, of course, is a big lefty.
They were just telling a story, Ben. Yeah, someone in the chat said this analysis makes so much sense when you realize Ben has never been in love. And you're right. It's literally like trying to describe a beautiful picture full of colors to a dog. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to get it. It can't see it, dude. For Ben, marriage and partnership is just simply not about love, not about mutual respect, not about any of that. It's just about populating the planet. Having little Ben Shapiro's running around.
In season 2, apparently, if it mirrors the video games, from what I've been told, it gets very trans and very lesbian and all the rest of it. And that's their prerogative.
Yeah, that's our takeaway from The Last of Us 2. Ben is very, very gamer without being a gamer. He embodies all the qualities of the sweatiest fucking losers on the planet who like think being the most annoying sweaty person is a personality trait and not a clear-cut personality flaw, without playing a fucking single video game, which is pretty funny. The Last of Us 2 is about being very gay and very trans. I hate it already. I haven't even seen it.
They're the creators of the show. But all of the talk about how this was like an excellent episode of TV that was wrapped into a broader show is not true. And pretending that it is ignoring kind of the dynamics of the show. So there's my critique of The Last of Us episode 3. I know I'm not allowed to say that I didn't like it. You have to say you loved it. And you particularly loved the most, like the most graphic parts of it. Those are the parts you love the most, right? I mean, because if you don't say that, it means you're a homophobe or something. All I'm saying is that nobody actually paid to see the movie Bros. And when you go to see The Last of Us, what you generally want to see is a zombie apocalypse TV show, not two gay dudes dating while listening to Linda Ronstadt and then dying of old age after growing strawberries. I think that...
Bro, this was a 13-minute video that was a banger, by the way, because everyone is just as stupid as Ben, about Ben being like, too long, didn't understand the point, way too much gay shit. That's it. While he secretly actually loved it. That's the other part of it. He loved it. He fucking admitted numerous times, like, it's beautifully shot. It would work as a standalone Showtime movie. Like, he's subtly giving you hints that he also, like, kind of liked it.